So we're going to talk you through what's happening at the festival this coming Saturday, which means we're going to talk about some drinks. So even if you can't go to the festival, you'll be able to use some of the drinks or find some of the drinks. We've got some of them to put in front of you, and hopefully Anya will join us as well. I think secretly she wants to watch the tennis and this is getting in the way, but
or the cricket.
But she did do a half marathon today, of which we're incredibly chuffed for her, because she's had a long recovery since she's done her Marathon des Sables. For anyone who may have read her blog about running that ultramarathon with TB, and so well done, Anya. And wow, we might make a start. So let me just start telling you a bit about the festival this Saturday. So any of you who came to January and haven't been to a summer festival before, this festival is outdoors, so a slightly different feel. It's also in one of London's biggest markets. There's absolutely tons of people who'll be milling around. It means we don't have as many talks and things like that, especially because we used to use the Patisserie Valerie on the square, and some of you may know that some of their branches have closed, including that one. What we do have, though, are 4 cocktail masterclasses, which we'll be holding in the head office of Bacardi that happens to be on that square. Now, I'm really excited about this because I'm not running the masterclasses. So that's the first thing you need to know about the quality of them. So Camille from La Maison Wellness has been working for drinks brands across the world for all of her career, creating and making cocktails. And what amazes me about Camille is that she's somebody who's worked with drink all of her life and has now decided that she wants to be healthier, and so has just completely switched her attitude towards alcohol free. So she's got all those same skills, but she's now working mostly in the low and no category, and she makes exceptional cocktails, and she's designed an individual cocktail for each of those sessions. So the first one is how to mix a perfect bow tonic, which is whatever botanical you may choose yourself, how to make the perfect one for you. The second is on how to make a perfect summer spritz using 2 of the more bitter drinks that will be at the festival, Everleaf and the Bitter Note, and using Lindeman's wine. The third one is how to use brews, so beers and kombuchas, to make a perfect summer cup, so the equivalent to a Pimm's basically. And the final one is how to make a perfect espresso martini using some of the different spirits. Now, I need to just...
We've had Camille made a cocktail for one of the events we went to, and it was a mix of beer and ginger beer and something else, and I heard the ingredients and I thought that can't be right, but it actually tasted amazing. Yeah. So she really knows what she's doing.
It was amazing. Anya, can you just check a couple of things? One is that your phone is on landscape, because otherwise it won't let me bring you on. And there's another thing that happens when people can't get on, and I can't remember what the other one was, but that's normally it. It's normally that your phone's on the wrong way round. So we're going to make a start anyway, and I'm hoping we'll be able to bring Anya on because she is our drink expert in Club Soda. But luckily we've got Yusi here, who's got a full range of beer reviews that include hoppy and malty. We were joking that we should get, before Anya joined us, and Jen and Yusi used to go around tasting beers, and I used to do videos of them. They used to go, yeah, not too hoppy, not too malty, and that we should get them a t-shirt that says hoppy and malty.
Well, talking of beers, so let's start with our old friend Big Drop Stout. So for those of you who've been to our festivals, you know that there's loads of drinks there, but we always have a few sponsors who, I mean, all the drinks pay to be there, but our sponsors are very generous in coughing up a bit more money so that we can put these events up. And Big Drop has been to every single one of our festivals, and their stout from the very first. And this is a special beer, so this has won a silver award in the World Beer Awards a couple of years ago against full strength stouts. So that's pretty amazing stuff for an alcohol-free beer. And I know Anya really loves stout as well, so it's a shame that she can't tell us what she thinks of it. But I think this is the one beer when we give it to people, everyone just loves it. All the beer drinkers.
Yeah, and they've got a full range. They've got spiced ale, they've got a sour, which the real big beer drinkers say isn't sour enough, but I really like it. I'm not a beery person. Could you just ask Anya to see if it's because she's got her rotation lock on? So they've got a stout, a lager, a pale ale. They're bringing a special edition pale ale to this festival as well. They've got a brown ale, a sour, and then this stout. So they've got something for everybody, and I do recommend that you go and try them if you've not really even tried a beer before. I have to say it's really interesting because I talk a lot about beer now. I was never a beer drinker when I was drinking. I have no association between beer and getting drunk, so it's not even a slight trigger drink for me. So if any of you are worried about whether you should drink a beer or not, then obviously if you think it's going to be a trigger for you, then don't drink it. But equally, if you've never drunk beer before, I have to tell you the secret, which is that we learn to like alcohol because we like the effect it gives us. You can actually learn to like anything that you want, any drink you want. And so I still don't drink these beers an awful lot, but I definitely drink them when I'm out because I'd rather have them than a Coke and lemonade because they're lower in calorie and haven't got any sugars. But I'm also more likely to sip them because it's not a taste that I'm very used to. So I don't glug them. Like even if you give me an alcohol-free gin and tonic, I will still drink it really quickly. Whereas these I take longer to drink and go really well with food as well. So I talk about beer a lot, and it's a product I've only drunk as an alcohol-free product.
Yeah. And the second sponsor is Cedars. Now they've been to a few of our festivals, so many of you will know about Cedars.
Let me see if I can get the glare of the sun. There's nowhere in this flat where
with
you
no
can't,
sun.
Yeah, with no sun.
Cedars is a lovely distilled gin substitute, or alternative gin they call it.
Yep,
Comes in 3 flavors: wild, classic and
crisp.
Thank you.
And I really like this product, partly because there are products that are made by companies as part of their, big companies as part of their overall product development. They go, oh, this is what the market wants, and they often design the packaging first and then decide on the liquid to go in it. A Big Drop and Cedars are both products that have been designed by people who felt that there was a need in the market. So Maria was pregnant and Craig wanted to find something interesting for her to drink. They've both got Swedish and South African roots, and so they're using some really interesting ingredients from
South
those.
Africa.
But the reason why it's called, well, there's some
I think it's Swedish water as well.
There's Swedish water. But they've actually, a lot of the products they have come from the Cederborg Valley in South Africa. And they have now brought a bit of that valley, which has got all the ingredients in. Why don't we have a bit of a valley, you see?
In South Africa? That is a good question.
Well, there's a bit of a dip down there where the buses go. Maybe we could buy that.
Let's do that.
But again, we'll be using this in the How to Mix the Perfect Bow Tonic. And do go and try it. My top tip for you is if you never liked a gin and tonic, it's because you don't like tonic, you don't like that bittery taste. It means you probably don't like a bittery beer either. And for those of you who did like a gin and tonic and are not sure about it, really gin was a flavouring for tonic. Most of what you get in that drink is tonic. So you can flavour your tonic with other things, and the alcohol-free spirits are some of them. But you can also use other things like a bit of cordial or some bitters and all of those sorts of things. So
yeah,
I drink tonic a lot on its own.
And the third of our sponsors is Lindemans Wines. Ooh, where can we see it?
There.
Nowhere. There.
It's always back to front anyway.
Oh, okay. Well, there we go. So Lindemans alcohol-free wines comes in 3 varieties. There's a red and a white and a sparkling.
Yeah. And for those of you that are looking for the perfect alcohol-free wine, I'll always tell you that you need to experiment and try different ones, try wines at different price points. But this is really interesting because this is a company that is from Australia. They've gone into Asda and Morrison's already. And I would definitely say try the sparkling because I think the sparkling dealcoholizes better. Dealcoholization means that the wine had alcohol in, it was a full strength wine to begin with, and then the alcohol was taken out, normally through a spinning cone technology. And I think the wines are getting better, but as you can imagine, compared to beer, it takes 8 weeks to do a beer? This is why we need Anya, right? and
well, I think the difference, because beer goes down from 5% to 0%, whereas wine goes from 12-13% to 0%. There's a bigger difference in the
well, no,
alcohol
I think
content.
wine takes a lot longer to make generally. So in order to bring some new alcohol-free wines into the market, it's going to take a lot longer generally.
Yeah. It's also more complicated to make.
And those are the alcohol-free. Beers are made with a laser yeast, so they haven't had the alcohol taken out, whereas the wines all have.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anya's having real technical difficulties. It doesn't look like she can join us today.
That's really annoying because I wanted her to tell us about the
comment.
new soda, but she will put some comments in.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay, shall we carry on?
I'm glad you're here.
Well, I can move out the things.
Cool.
And we often have brand new things launching at the festival, so I think we've got a few things that are really, really brand new, which is quite exciting.
So let me just tell you about Sensor Spirits, because if any of you came to our first two festivals, you might have tried some of the concoctions from a company called Real Remedies, who specialise in using plants and botanicals to make, what are elixirs and things like that, and using the natural elements of the plants. They have been working, and I'm so proud of them, right? They've been working so hard over the last over the last year, to bring into the market some of the dark spirits, using plants and using the natural elements of plants. They should give you a little bit of a natural high. They're launching officially this week, I think, or no, it was last week, I think. When was the 10th? I think we've gone past the 10th. Didn't invite us.
Oh. But they are so new that we haven't even seen any bottles.
No, we've got a very ropey picture of a bottle to go into the booklet. So go and check them out. And because they are also absolutely lovely people, and we're so proud of them, actually, them having got this far.
The next thing we have actually tasted is the Drop Bear beers from Wales.
We feel like we've adopted Drop Bear beer. Don't tell Rob from Big Drop. But they are a couple.
Joel and Sarah,
who are a couple and live in Wales. And they are both very young, and they have brewed their first alcohol-free beer. So it's Wales' first alcohol-free beer, which is very exciting. And again, they are just the loveliest people. They would really appreciate your feedback on their beer, but do go and try it. And we're hoping that they will also be our special beer at Queers Without Beers in the future as well.
And they are very nice beers. We have tried them. And the other new thing is Freestar. This is another beer type thing, which I haven't seen in any shops or anywhere yet, so it's really brand new as well. And we have tried that one, and it's quite refreshing. It's a bit of a Radler kind of taste, so there's a lemony undertone to the beer. Quite malty and hoppy.
You
right?
can't say that. Anya can add some extra thoughts about. Actually, Anya may not have tried Freestar yet.
I don't think she has.
They had very few bottles. It's a creation by three guys, one of whom used to work for Tesla, and one worked for Sipsmith, and the other worked for
somewhere in the city, I think.
I
can't remember.
For a brand that none of us know.
Yeah.
But anyway, so they'll be there with their Freestar. Again, definitely worth a try. And if you're not a big beer lover, I think you might find this quite interesting. It sort of feels a little bit lighter, definitely
easier to drink than some of the heavy IPAs and really strongly flavoured beers.
So again, get rid of what you already know about beer, and do go and try some of these things. They're all coming out with quite different tastes. And because they don't have alcohol in, they're relying on different properties to make them taste good. And Freestar are definitely going into that refreshing, light, drink at a pop concert type beer.
Mm-hmm. And another newbie is St. Clement, which is there's two flavours of soft drinks. There's an apple and pear, and I can't remember what the other one was. But
that's an AG Bar product, right?
From AG
so
Bar.
The guys who brought you Iron Brew are bringing you an adult. I guess that it's slightly. I'm assuming a cidery type drink. So those of you who like
sparkling apple-based drinks, yeah.
Yeah. So give that a go. That'd be really interesting.
The next one, Atopia from William Grant and Sons, which is a big whiskey producer, and they've launched their first alcohol-free beer, alcohol-free spirit. Just a
so
few
they've
weeks
gone
ago.
into all the supermarkets as well, and do look out for them. They've got two flavours, a spicy citrus one, and then one called Wild Blossom, which is slightly more tobacco-y and smoky. We tried it last week, and there's definitely that nice feeling of that smoky tobacco-ness in it. We should have brought a bottle, actually. It's in the spirit cabinet at work, and I forgot it was there.
And they are some of the most stylish bottles. I've had several people comment on
Yeah,
how good they look.
They look very good. So do look out for Atopia, and we'll be using those in the masterclasses as well.
Yeah.
I forgot, Yusi, do you know which of the products Zero Proof and
Zero Option and Wise Bartender.
Wise
I know
Bartender
some
bringing?
of them.
So we can talk about those as well.
They're at the end.
Oh, they are. Cool.
And the other thing, Good Call Soda. Now, Anya does know about this, but it's so new that it doesn't really exist yet.
So Anya's going to put some information in the notes, but it really is just hot off the production line. And it's, what do you know about it, Yusi? Because it's being produced by a brewery, so why haven't they just done a beer?
Well, I think because they have made beer before, but now they're trying to create something new, which isn't a beer. So it's got some flavors that are sort of beer-like, but it's not a beer. So let's wait for Anya's words. And there was a question there: how many are no and low alcohol?
Okay, so Claire,
that's a good question.
There are no low alcohol drinks there. We have low alcohol at the January festival, so between 0.5 and 3%, 4% for a spirit we had. We don't have that at all in the summer festival. They're all 0.5% and below, which is alcohol free. So that's what you'll find at the festival. I was going to go back to the...
So Anya was talking about Good Call Soda, and it's actually made with tea and hops. So it's a very new kind of drink. And I think for those interested in this, is extremely low in calories.
Which tea, Anya? Which tea? If they can name the tea, then I'm definitely interested. The other thing
I think it does mention the teas on the label. I have seen the label.
The other thing that's interesting is that I think brewers who then go to make sodas are really interesting, because that Square Root, who has also been to every one of our festivals you'd have met before, they've got a brewing background. And the fact they managed to brew and make a soft drink that's seasonal and lower in sugar is probably a testament to their brewing skills. So I think it's really exciting when brewers decide to use the skill that they have to produce something different.
Yeah.
And just to give you, excuse me. So Anya says it's made from tea and hops, and it's something completely new and something that doesn't actually have a direct link to beer. It's just in a strange new world all of its own. Oh, sounds like us.
Made of Yunnan green tea.
Oh, right, they've named the tea. They've got me interested. Right, moving on.
Cool.
Can I have this one just so I can...
You can.
I'm really thirsty. And
so that was the new launches, and I think then there's a few things that have been around for a while, but they are sort of new to our festival. So actually the bitter note was sort of there in January on the Wise Bartender stall, but the bitter note will be having their own stall at the summer festival next week.
Well, bitter note, and we'll come back to Everleaf, which was at the last festival. They're both in the Italian bitters tradition, which is something that you would have drunk as an aperitif in Italy. And so having alcohol-free bitters is very common. So if you think Campari and those sort of bitter drinks, but probably of a higher quality, bitter note and Everleaf fit into those. And so they're both actually in the spritz session, because you can make a really nice equivalent to an Aperol spritz, using them and some Lindemans or some fizzy water, whichever you prefer. But they're also really beautiful on their own in the rocks. And in fact, I always feel Paul from Everleaf, I love his product dearly, but I always feel too guilty to ask him for a bottle. Is there a reason why we need a bottle?
We should ask. But Anya agrees the bitter note is fantastic.
Yeah, and Camille thinks that both Everleaf and Bitter Note are very, very nice awesome drinks, products. Yeah. But you need to learn how to drink them. And again, if you're not used to bitter taste, you may need to take some time to get used to them. The new Acorn that's come out from the makers of Seedlip, again, is an Italian sans bitter, really. Yeah. And again, you'll drink it on the rocks or part of a cocktail.
Yeah.
So that's cool. Right.
Then there's something called Big Zero Proof, which is again something we haven't ever even tried. It comes from somewhere in Lancashire, I believe. It's sort of it's not quite a cordial, but you sort of use it instead of gin. You can mix it with tonic and create all kinds of concoctions. And it comes in several flavors, so really looking forward to trying Big Zero Proof.
Yes, we've not tried it at all.
And
then we finally got Kronbacher.
Yes, Kronbacher beer. So Kronbacher Pils has been around for a while. It's a very sort of lager, a really good German beer. And I think the Weiss beer hasn't really been available in the UK so far, but they are out now. So if you like a wheat beer, Kronbacher's got that as well.
Yeah, so those German wheaty, slightly sweeter beers.
It's a little bit sweeter than your average lager, but yeah, very nice beers. And then we've got a tea brand, Herbaceous Blends.
Well, in theory, technically, it's a herbal tisane brand. It's not a tea unless it's made with tea leaves.
Well, there may be some actual teas there as well.
I'm not a snob at all.
No.
But they're trying to disrupt the herbal tea world. So
they'll be serving, I think, cold brews of their drinks at the festival because they can't do hot drinks.
Yeah.
Next one, Zacco. This is another new distilled spirit brand. We met the producer a couple of weeks ago.
He's amazing. He used to work in the city and has given up his job in order to bring ingredients from the Silk Road, which is his background. Is it
Persian?
Persian, based on Persian recipes. And he's created...
His family's been distilling these products for a long time, and he's now bringing them out to the world so that everyone can try them.
He endeared himself to me because we met him at a trade show, and he went, when I started this, I just wanted to wait for the moment that I can meet Laura Willoughby. I was like, oh God, I hope it's not a disappointment. But again, he's got a product that he's really proud of, has got a really good story behind it. And I really want you to go and try it and really experience it.
Yeah, and it comes in two flavors. There's a clear spirit and a dark spirit, and very different flavors, and some really, really interesting spices and herbs and all sorts of things there. Definitely worth trying out.
Yes.
A beautiful bottle as well.
Yeah, and then there's Strike.
So, Strike. Now, Strike's an interesting one because they have gone for a very different approach to this spirit from others, because they are clearly just trying to replace the vodka, gin or rum
They do
with
a vodka, gin, a rum.
Alcohol-free versions, and this one even says this is Strike, not gin. So they are meant to be used sort of really just to replace a gin, vodka and a rum.
And they're a lower price point. This is 15 quid a bottle. Something around that, as opposed to £28 a bottle. So for all of us cheapskates out there, hooray!
And I have to say, I was skeptical when I heard of alcohol-free vodka. Like, what's the point? But actually, these are really interesting drinks, and
he's got some heat in there that gives you a bit of burn.
There's a secret ingredient or secret process. They won't tell us what it is, but there's something there. So yeah, definitely worth investigating if you like your spirits.
Then we have this.
Yeah, this one people will have seen.
I'm very excited about this for two reasons. One is that for ages and ages and ages, we tried to talk to Brewdog about Club Soda and being part of it. And suddenly, very quickly, they've gone, yeah, we want to be part of this. And that's partly, I think, because some people have moved into working for Brewdog who knew us in a previous life in other brands. They asked to have all their venues put up on our guide. And so we're a little bit chuffed about that. And also, they're doing a special offer, which is if you take... We've got a voucher in the booklet, and if you take that voucher to any Brewdog over the weekend...
No, it's valid for a whole week.
Oh, valid for a whole week. If you take it that voucher, they'll give you a free
Brewdog
can.
bar. Yeah, any Brewdog bar in London, I think.
Do you think we could put it out on email?
I don't know.
I'm going to have a look at what the voucher says, what the small print is.
Yeah.
Is it just London? It might be.
I think it might be. But Brewdog, Nanny State's an old favourite with the Club Soda community, and the Punk AF is another. It's actually their third alcohol-free beer.
Yeah.
And this is a really good one.
Cool.
I'm not going to say multi or hoppy because...
And you will put some stuff.
And you will say
something
nice about Brewdog. And then there's a whole bunch of drinks that have been to our festivals before and will be there again.
Now, what I will tell you is Mustafa from Shrub, and as some of you will know, Shrub is one of my favourite drinks. It's a Prohibition soda. It's based on the recipe from the 1920s when Prohibition was around in America, and they used a vinegar-based drink to give you that acidity that you normally get in alcohol. He's brought out a red wine and a white wine alternative. So Sharab. And so we talked about de-alkalized wines earlier. Now, if you don't drink for religious reasons, you probably wouldn't even touch a de-alkalized wine because it had alcohol in it at some point. And I think you need to split into your thought process the alcohol, the wine equivalents or the wine alternatives alongside the alcohol-free wines. And Sharab is a wine alternative, and definitely give that a go. And Bee's Knees as well, which is coming. It comes in a champagne bottle. That is made with grape juice and tea.
I believe so. Can't remember.
And again, that is not a de-alkalized wine, but a wine alternative.
Yeah.
So they will be very different in taste. They will, but go and give them a go.
Yeah. And another favourite, I think, another brand that's been at every single festival we've done. Our friends from Hackney, Square Root Soda. And they are just amazing soft drinks. Like once I had this cola, I've never had another brand of cola because it's just not worth buying the two commercial ones because this is so much nicer.
Oh, so
if you like the cola nut, you will like it.
I like that, but I don't like Coca-Cola normally.
Other brands.
And other brands, but it's also not very sweet because they have a third of the sugar of other sodas in Square Root Soda, and they have a seasonal range. It also means that their products don't last more than 6 months to a year in the bottle, which is why that's the lack of sugar, and all of these things are a bit like that. I'm just going to touch up on Hunafasa, who said, I've never met a good taste in no ABV wines. I mean, there's a couple of things to know about wine. As we said, I think technology is changing and some new stuff will come through. I think just like alcoholic wines, the more you pay, the better the quality. You also do have to just reattune your taste buds. Because just like if you were switching between a different grape wine and you might not be used to it, you do get used to it after a while. I often find that I'm not really interested in drinking wine on its own anymore because I only used to really drink it on its own to get drunk, but it really does work really well with food, and so I save alcohol-free wine for when I've got food. And so you do need to play around. It's really important in this space, guys, to not write off all the alcohol-free drinks because you've tasted one you don't like, because there's such a variety coming out now. You need to experiment and remember that there's more in the beer world than Caliber. Just because that was around 20 years ago, it doesn't mean that that's what's around now. And
they are different flavors and different beers and different.
If you don't like stout and you try an alcohol-free stout and don't like it, it doesn't mean you hate every alcohol-free beer. It means you don't like alcohol-free stout either. So there's all of that sort of stuff.
Yeah, shall we go through these in order then?
Because
we've got a long list. So Caleño.
Another friend from Bristol.
A lovely spirit from Bristol.
She'd say it's from South America,
American flavours.
Because it's got her South American influences in behind it. And
for 2 festivals in a row now, Ellie's been the first trader to book her stall at our festival. So she should get some sort of medal. And we've got another west of England drink, Sea Arch, another lovely spirit.
So that's got sea kelp in, and so all of these alcohol-free spirits come with different ingredients. And go try them all and work out which you like.
Yeah. And then we've got Barago.
Oh, that's I like to say it's the bad boy of the alcohol-free spirits.
It's got a very, very strong taste.
It's got a very strong taste. It goes very well in flavoured tonics, but also goes really well in different cocktails. We're going to use it in the espresso martini masterclass, and I really admire Tom because he's gone out there punching. He's not gone anywhere mild. He said, "This is what will hold well. This is what we will. I'm going to produce, and I'm going to share with you how to use it best."
It's a really strong peppery taste as well.
I've talked about Shrub and
Square Root and Everleaf we've mentioned. Nice to have Everleaf back. And we've got some kombuchas and living drinks.
We've only got one kombucha this time.
Yes.
Phil.
But Lobros has a wide range. They do kombuchas and
they do sodas
soft
made
drinks.
from their kombucha. So they do a cola kombucha and a ginger beer kombucha and all of those sort of things.
Yeah, and
so
I think they've got a couple of new flavours and summer flavours. I think watermelon will feature. And we've got more beers. So Lucky Saint made their first appearance at our January festival. This is a really nice unfiltered lager. Do you want to say it or shall I say?
No,
it's got malts and hops and it's very nice.
Anya will tell you more about
Lucky Saint.
Lucky Saint in the
comments.
In the comments, but again, it's a really beautiful beer.
Yeah.
And you haven't put in there Brax. So Brax
that's the second page. Silk Tree, straight from Dublin.
From Ireland, the Irish contingent is in force.
Another strong spirit flavour.
Yeah, it's going to tell us off for not being in the cocktails. I'm waiting for that.
Yeah. And another frequent flyer, Teetotal Drinks. Again, they've been to every single one of our festivals.
Teetotal G&T and
Cuba Libre.
So they do a small pre-bottled Cuba Libre, which is a rum and coke, and a gin and tonic.
Which is
and
a
I
gin
have
and tonic.
to say, it always goes down really well whenever we take it anywhere. There is something nice about having a pre-bottled, and they're probably the best out of the pre-made gin and tonics. Nice. And again, they are they're from it's a Yorkshire product, and they're fighting in this space against all the big boys. So you must go and visit them.
And more international drinks, Brax from Amsterdam.
So
a range of beers and.
I also like Brax because they've got my favourite cider.
Yeah.
And if I don't leave with whatever he's got left in the cider department, I'm going to be really upset.
So that's going to be one of the 2 ciders featured at the event this year. And Adnams will bring their Ghost Ship alcohol-free back to the festival.
And the other thing to know about Adnams Ghost Ship is this is a de-alkalised beer. So it's probably one of the only ones so far in the UK that's de-alkalising. We think there'll be one coming from West Beer a bit later this year.
Yeah.
But I think they're the...
I
think they're the only de-alkalised. So they use that spinning cone technology, which means it tastes exactly like their Ghost Ship, but it's selling more than their alcoholic Ghost Ship.
Is it?
I don't know. Did you not tell me they're selling like loads of stuff?
No, they're selling an awful lot, like they can't make it fast enough.
But they can't make it fast enough. Everyone who likes Ghost Ship says it's really good. And I hear that some people are making Ghost Ship shandies with half an alcoholic Ghost Ship and half an alcohol-free Ghost Ship. Charlotte, can you tell me where can you buy the pre-made cans? Of which product are you on about? Most of the beers come in cans, but actually most of the spirits and stuff...
Teetotal?
Teetotal G&T is in a small bottle, not in a can. And actually you can buy it online and through Amazon and through places like Dry Drinker and Wise Bartender and Zero Proof Drinks.
Zero Option.
Yeah, and Zero Option. So, Charlotte, that's a bottle. But if you use the code Club Soda VIP on Wise Bartender and Dry Drinker, you can order it through them. But I think you find it on Amazon as well.
Yeah, it is on Amazon.
If you go onto clubsodaguide.com, then you can also see where it's stocked.
Yep. And
all of these drinks, by the way, are on clubsodaguide.com with where you can buy them retail, as well as if there's any venues that are stocking them.
Yeah. Dragon, another...
I'm going to get into Dragon early.
Dragon made their first appearance at the January festival. It's an energy drink, but not like the ones you've had before.
No, it's got turmeric in and all sorts of stuff. So I really like it, and so I'm going to be...
Lower sugar.
He sold out really nice. Very quickly in January, so there was none left for me.
And another old favourite with a new labelling, Nirvana have done a redesign. So they come in new bottles.
It's really lovely.
It is, and they're good beers.
Well, they have the lager as well. I didn't see if that's it.
I don't know how lager's happening, but it will be coming out at some point. And another, this one is widely available, Budweiser Prohibition. I think their second appearance at the festival.
Yeah.
And one of your favourites,
Gusto.
Gusto Organic.
I love the Gusto lemon energy drink, but definitely go for the there's another the original energy drink is absolutely makes you buzz as well, all naturally sweetened with agave. So
and they do a nice cola drink as well.
And they also do. He was so excited to show me the one that he does with chili in, but I couldn't drink it because I can't do chili really of any kind. So yeah.
And then Clayton's Cola Tonic.
You know more about Clayton's.
Yeah, so this
I haven't tried it yet.
Clayton's has a long history. So it was made in the 1880s in London, in Bermondsey, by the Clayton brothers, and it was, I think, at the time sold as a bit of a health drink,
A tonic.
a tonic.
Vitalising tonics.
But I think it's always had the cola nut in it, which is what all the cola drinks get their flavour from. And they stopped making it in the UK, but it's now made in the Caribbean, in Barbados.
It was very popular in the Caribbean and Barbados. So
yeah, and
it's
they've
now coming
started
back.
importing it from there to England and the UK, and it's a really nice tonic, and you can mix it with tonic or fizzy water, and you can make all kinds of concoctions out of it.
Yeah, I
It's
think
a really interesting drink.
they're great for making cocktails with
Yes.
as well. So
And then we've got a few special things. So we've got a alcohol-free pop-up bar, an Elegant Fusion.
she'll be doing some cocktails.
They'll be making cocktails. And we've got the two shops we've already mentioned. So the Zero Option and Wise Bartender will have their stalls, and they'll be featuring a big long list of drinks. So
I think Zero Option will bring more than they could possibly manage.
they will, but they will definitely have pimento.
For those of you who like your chili ginger beer.
Yeah, that's
Dawn.
another one that's been at every festival. Well done, pimento. And I think they'll also have the 12 Below tonics.
I think so. So 12 Below Tonics are sponsoring the Botonic session.
Masterclasses.
Yeah.
And Tom from Wise Bartender says he'll have at least driver's tipple, which is another gin
alcohol-free spirit,
alternative thing.
I'm not sure if I've tried it. We've got it in the cupboard, haven't we?
I think we have tried it.
Ooh.
Just can't remember. And he'll also have Copperberg alcohol-free cider and Coast Beer, which I think comes from Scotland and make a couple of really, really nice alcohol-free beers.
Oh.
I've tried one of them.
You got any in
I
the
think
fridge?
no, I think I drank it.
Oh.
Sorry.
It disappeared.
It was nice.
So so just a final bit really to say is that we want you all to come. It's a great day trip, and it's definitely a day trip worth doing. It doesn't start till 11, so you've got time to get down on a train, and it's okay if you come on your own. We've got a community table so that other Club Soda members can meet with you and take you around the event. And then we've got our own stand, and for the first time we're going to be properly branded, although that part of the gazebo hasn't turned up yet.
It's been lost in the post, but maybe we'll come back.
And so you can come and talk to us, and we've got other people helping us organise, which means me and UC are more available than we've ever been at a festival, and Drew and Anya. And we really, really want to talk to you and remind everybody that this is a community event most of all. It's really important to us. There isn't a ticket charge for you as a consumer to come into our events. I don't know how sustainable that's going to continue to be, but for us it's about you getting the opportunity to try new drinks and be able to put some new favourites into your cupboard or into your fridge. And if we put a price barrier up to that, then we think we wouldn't be doing the job that we want to do, because for us it's not all about money, it's about creating a world where nobody feels out of place not drinking. We will launch some merch online this week that you can order, but we'll have badges and we won't have mugs because I didn't order them in time. But we have bags and a few other things. Bar blades.
Some surprises.
Yeah, so there'll be some things to buy. You can chat to us about the guide. We can just have a gossip. We can do photos and it'll all be awesome. So do come and talk to us. And if you hadn't thought about coming, then, have a look at the plane, train, and all the other options. Come and join us for the day.
I think that's it. I think we've covered nearly 40 drinks.
Wow, and there's Anya typing away furiously in the notes. Yeah. Technology, eh?
Oh well.
Wow. But it seems to be always okay, Anya, when you want to share pictures of dogs on our company WhatsApp. But anyway, that's it.
Yeah, and I think Anya's saying that she will come with a big suitcase again to haul all the drinks back to Leeds.
I've got a picture of Anya at the last event we did where she just basically filled her suitcase with as much as she could carry. So there we are. All right then, and if anyone wants to share the train down with Anya, she's on her way down. All right, I'll speak to you soon. Bye.
Bye.